Alright, so this week's Blender Challenge in Game Dev Club, we have one each week. This week we want to try and make a Christmas die. So we want to have 6 different pictures, all with a different number on. We want to map it out to a cube in Blender, and then it would be really nice if we could get some kind of animation so that it moves. Okay? That's about as far as we're going to get. So we'll start from the default cube. And we want to stick with this default cube but apply a texture to it. So far we've already learned that we can apply materials, and you can have colours, but you don't see those colours until you go into the material mode. But rather than saying every single vertex is the same colour, we want to click the blob. Now in my version of Blender the blob is on the right. I think on the latest version of Blender the blob might be on the left, so be careful about that. We want an image texture. That's this one. We can then choose an image. Now I would like you to create an image. I've gone onto PowerPoint and I've just got a picture with 6 things where you can find 6 different Christmas images, copy and paste them all. You can do this in Photoshop, you can do this in PowerPoint, you can do this in Word, whatever you like. I've put numbers on here. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to make a festive dice so it makes sense. The important thing is that you save it as a picture. So if you do it in Photoshop or something like that, it's way easier. I'm just going to save it as a PowerPoint. I've got a Blender folder somewhere. Christmas. Don't save it as PowerPoint because that's not a good texture format. We want an image file. It could be a JPEG or a PNG. JPEG is probably going to be fine, and I'm going to call it Christmas Dice. There we go. Just this slide, which is now a image. Now, when we go back to Blender, just a reminder of what we've done. Oop, don't want to save it. We have just put a texture on it, applied an image texture, and now we can open that picture. I think I stored it in a Blender folder. Here we go, Christmas Dice. So it's there, it's mapped to the object, but there's 2 reasons we can't see it. Reason number 1 is because we're just on solid mode. Reason number 2 is because, it's not mapped out properly. So I need to go to UV editing and change this. So at the top of the screen I clicked on UV editing. I need to be in face mode, that's this one here, so I can select all of these things differently. That's clicking on 1 for vertex mode, 2 for edge mode, or 3 for face mode, that's better. And then we can change them. Bear in mind the keyboard input on Blender is where your mouse is. So if my mouse is on the right, my keyboard focus goes to the right. If my mouse is on the left, my keyboard focus goes to the left. It's quite logical. Right. When I go from layout to UV, it switches back to solid rendering mode, and I don't like that. So let's go back to the textured mode. That's better, the material mode. And we can choose each one in turn. So I left click to select it, press A with my mouse over here to select all, and grab it. Right, let's hold down Shift and the mouse wheel to move across and grab it over here. S to scale, but then just Y to scale in the Y direction. And that's okay, but it's the wrong direction. So just R, and then hold down Control and it kind of locks it. Oh, it's upside down. You can do R180 to rotate by 180 degrees. I've done 1. The rest is actually quite simple. A to select all, G to grab, S to scale, SX to squidge it in the X-axis, G to grab, S to scale. And it's not far off, but it's rotated, so R90 enter to rotate by, the wrong 90 degrees. So let's do R180. There we go. Get in there, this one. Right, let's do number 3 as quickly as we can. A to select, G to grab, help. What I did wrong there, my mouse was on the right-hand side of the screen, not the left-hand side of the screen, and it matters. Blender's quite clever. It knows where your mouse is, and that's the part of the screen that you need to control. I'll need to do SY here so it fits. This time R-90. That's better. Almost there. Here we go. A to select all, G to grab, SX to squidge it in, SY to stretch it out. Let's grab it a little bit more. There we go. Facing the wrong way. R-90. That'll do. And then 5 and 6 is the top and the bottom. Alright, here we go. Yes, looking good. Can't be bothered to make them the right orientation, but you know that you can rotate them with R. And that's pretty much it. Once we've got all of the faces, You can then animate it. How do you animate it? Well, I'm going to Shift A to add a plane, S. I'm going to select this cube, GZ, to move it up. And then how do we animate it? Well, probably one of the easiest way at this point, we won't put any physics on it, you can explore that if you know how to, is just to insert I, the location and the rotation, that's lock rot, and we get a blob down here. Move along the timeline. I'm going to go to the end of the timeline and remember the same place, I lock rot. So at the moment it's remember the location and rotation, but it doesn't change. Halfway along, or some point along, we can rotate it and we can grab it and insert lock rot again, and then this time it will have remembered the start point and that point, and then I can move along the animation, G, R, I, move along the animation, oops, pressed H by mistake, Alt H is unhide, let's grab it, let's rotate it, insert lock rot, and we'll have ourselves a little festive dice animation. It's not awesome, but it'll do. I don't think it's too shabby. So that's your challenge. We have until 4:30. That gives you 25 minutes to find 6 pictures, to copy and paste them all into one image, to export that as a JPEG, put that as the texture for your cube, and create a little animated Christmas dice. On your maps, get set, go!